Everyone. Can you hear me okay? I just wanted to welcome everybody to the Utica College Athletics Spirit Luncheon. My name is Dave Fontaine. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Utica College. And I just want to start off by really saying thank you for your support of our athletic programs, and today, specifically our women's sports. And this comes at a great time. As you probably know, this is the 40th anniversary of Title IX as it pertains to gender equity in athletics. And I think all of us would agree that as a country, we've come a long way in providing equitable opportunities for our women. And I have to say, as an institution here at Utica College, we do provide those equal opportunities, and we are always treating our women just as we treat our men. So we do take pride in that. We do execute that, and we're very proud of that. Before we get started, I would just like to thank Erin Hamlin for taking time out of her busy schedule to come, and she'll be our keynote speaker. And, you know, she's had such great accomplishments, which she'll talk about. And our women here at Utica College, both from a team perspective and an individual perspective, that have great accomplishments on their respective fields of play. And I know President Hutton will talk a little bit about that later on. And before we start our lunch, I'd like to invite Father Drogan up to give a prayer of thanks, and then I believe we'll be calling tables for our lunch. So, thank you.
Thank you, David, for this privilege, and you as well. Let us pray. Dear God, we beseech your abiding presence and watchful care as we gather for our annual athletic luncheon, beginning our academic year in our sports programs. We thank you for all athletes, coaches, trainers, mentors, guides, families, alums, sponsors, and friends. We thank you for our pioneer commitment to excellence, grateful for our tradition, dedicated to transformation, and yes, not only seizing the opportunity, but providing opportunities for learning, for growth, for accomplishment and achievement as well. And today we thank you especially for our esteemed guest speaker, Erin Hamlin, not only for what she has done, but for who she really is and who she achieves, for her sterling character and yes, unassuming inspiration to so many, especially our youth. We ask, dear God, that we may continue to do our very best, to be our true and genuine selves, so that we may give tribute to our families, our college, and so give honor and glory to you, our God. We ask that you, God, may indeed bless the nourishment that we partake, the friendship we share, and the inspiration we take this day and forevermore. Amen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue our program this afternoon. The next person up, it gives me great pleasure to introduce this young woman, is Erin Hamlin from Remsen, New York. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on Erin. First of all, Erin is considered one of the best female lugers in the world. So think about that for a second. Young lady from Remsen, New York, one of the best female lugers in the world. Erin represented the United States in the 2006 and 2010 Olympics. She was a 5-time U.S. national champion. She won the 41st World Games at Lake Placid, where she earned a gold medal. It gives me great pleasure, and I'm very humbled by this, to introduce Erin Hamlin.
Thank you very much. I just want to start by thanking the entire athletic staff and staff of Utica College for thinking of me and giving me the opportunity to be here today. You know, it's great to see all the people that come out to support women's athletics, especially in our area. It's very refreshing. 40 years ago, this year, Richard Nixon signed Title IX into law. basically, with the Education Amendment and changed the outlook of women forever. I was given the honor and the privilege to speak on a panel in Washington, D.C. this spring, where I met and spoke with some of the women who pretty much made the policies for the NCAA on women's sports. I learned a lot. Having grown up, not with the struggles that they had, I didn't really know much about it. I learned, even after it was made a law, many institutions still fought it for a very long time. There were a lot of men and women who were sued for years over, trying to get women's sports into colleges around the country, and how even the NCAA at one point fought the legality of sports being included in Title IX. So it was a really long struggle, but thankfully they succeeded. Sports actually weren't initially part of that, so it was an extra challenge to basically make it the kind of spearhead of the gender equality fight in colleges. Like I said, I didn't really grow up with the struggles. I was born in 1986 in a very small town in upstate New York, not very far from here. And I never had the issue of thinking about not being able to participate in sports, which I'm thankful for. But it's, thanks to those women of the, first Utica College women's basketball team who were honored recently for their amazing things that they have done. And that was way before Title IX, so that was impressive. That I was able, to play sports when I was little. I played on my little brother's t-ball team, so I was, boys and girls on the same team, which never even crossed my mind as being odd. I could pursue any sport I wanted to. There was no limitations. There was no, people telling me not to, or girls are only cheerleaders, or, girls don't play boys' sports. There was none of that. And it even gave me the opportunity to get into as obscure a sport as luge, which happened completely on a whim. And it was because people, mainly my parents who are here today, who encouraged me to do something different, to try something new, that was completely obscure, and I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. But it, just proves that after, all those people fought for equality and women's sports, I was pushed into something totally different, and it didn't even cross my mind that, oh, I can't do that because I'm a girl. So thankfully, I did do that, and since then my life has been defined by athletics. I started gymnastics when I was a kid, and after that I have dedicated 13 years of my life to sports. Luge isn't really a part of the Title IX push. It's not a federally funded sport. It's not in colleges. It's not in high schools. But at the same time, my participation in soccer and track in high school helped me become a better athlete. It helped me, be in shape. It helped me train for what would become an Olympic career. So it definitely made a difference for me. It's hard for me to think of what my life would be without sports. There would be, it's pretty, I don't even know what it would be because I've always known sports my whole entire life. There would be gaping holes in my education. I learned things and experienced things that I never would have had the opportunity to do without the opportunities through my sport. For example, when I was 16 years old, while my class was sitting in a classroom learning about World War II, I was able to stand in the same spot Hitler did in Nuremberg on his rallying grounds. So things like that, I was able to live through my sport. What else? I've touched the Berlin Wall. I have rubbed Buddha's belly in a Japanese temple. Just random stuff like that are experiences that I could never have had without sports. It also, shaped who I am as a person. You learn dedication, motivation. You learn how to be, a good team member. and how to have a good work ethic, things that you learn a lot quicker than I would have if I was, just living a normal life. Just health in general, being healthy is such a huge part of my life and it should be a part of everybody else's. So just that makes it all worth it to have a good full life. Now for a few stats to show that women have come a long way. I don't know if any of you have followed the London Games at all. Hopefully you have, because they were pretty awesome. Comparing that to 40 years ago, the year Title IX was passed, the Olympics were in Munich then. There were 400 athletes in the Munich Olympics from the United States. There were 316 men and 84 women. The women combined to win a total of 23 medals. 10 of them were gold, 7 of them were silver, and 6 of them were bronze. 40 years later in London, we had 530 athletes. 261 of them were men, and 269 of them were women. It was the first time in history we had more women than men on our Olympic team, which is pretty cool. On to the medals. The women combined to win a total of 59 medals, 29 of them gold, 14 of them silver, and 16 of them bronze. We would have been third overall in gold medal rank, tied for third. Just our women compared to other countries in the world. And we would have been fifth for the overall medal count. So we kind of dominated that, just a little bit. That's for, a summer athlete. I have so much enjoyed being an athlete. It has been such a positive and rewarding experience. Being able to represent my country and compete in the Olympics is something that, I think every kid at some point dreams of that, but even when I first got into luge, I didn't really quantify the fact that I could actually go until it got closer and closer to the time, and I'm like, wow, this could actually happen. And then it did, and it was awesome, and it was a great experience, and then I won world championships, and it kind of made me realize, wow, I'm kind of good at this, this could become a real thing, a whole career. And then I went to the Olympics again, and this time it was absolutely different than the first time. I went in as a medal favorite, came out a little bit disappointed, but it's motivating. It gives me a lot of drive to, for example, before our competition was over in Canada, I think the first day was over and I was on the finish dock, and I said to one of my friends, okay, so how many days until Sochi? Because it was instantly, before the competition was even over, I knew that my results weren't going to be where I wanted them to be, so instantly it was motivation to start working for the next 4 years. And that experience and that being able to grow up in the lifestyle I have has been more than anything that I could have imagined as a kid. It's really important for me because I have had that to encourage the support of the next generation and other athletes, especially young girls who, could sometime reach their own goals and do the same things I have or similar. Especially because regardless of any laws or anything, there is still a stigma that many young girls are trying to fight, regardless of their sport. I'm excited that I have the opportunity and I'm in a position that I can be a good role model for these young girls, especially in our community, and especially when we have the Snookies of the world to lead our youth, which is not exactly the people you want your kids to look up to. And I have been able to, do what I have been because of such amazing support from the community. I've been doing this for almost 13 and a half years and have the best fans from this area that I could have ever asked for. I have had so much support that's enabled me to do what I've done, and the least I can do is try and provide a path to those coming behind me and who are going to try and do the same thing. On that note, I've brought some special guests with me today. The three girls sitting at the table in front of me, Katie Schellhammer, Shannon Knapp, and Hannah Miller, they were all recruited to the sport of luge through the slider search that I helped bring to the area a few years ago. They are all currently on the junior national C team, and they are exactly where I was. I was in their position 10 years ago. I have obviously come a long way with the support of people like you here who are supporting Utica College women's athletics. I've had that support from all over, and that's how I got to where I am. And I was right where they are now. Katie was 7th in youth nationals. I meant to verify this stuff with you guys earlier and I forgot to, so if I'm wrong, just pretend I'm right. Shannon got a silver in Empire State Games, and Hannah got a bronze in Empire State Games. Yeah. I've actually stolen them away from a training camp in the classes. They're up there training where I do also right now. So, they are all, doing what I started out doing. And I wouldn't be where I am without people who support women's athletics and just sports in general, especially in this community. So I'm very, very thankful for that. And being able to compete in my sport, I wouldn't be up here right now if I didn't have the experiences I've had in my sport. Not only because I wouldn't really have anything to talk about, but I would not have the confidence, I wouldn't have the speaking abilities. It's made me who I am, and it's given me just the confidence to speak in front of groups, and that's something that I'll take away and be very thankful for, and it gives me a brighter future, even off the athletic field. 10 years from now, I hope that these girls will be able to stand up here and share their stories to a whole new generation of Utica College athletic supporters. And until then, I hopefully can still make the area proud. So thank you very much for coming today, and continue to support women's athletics.
Erin, thank you so much, and I don't think you have to worry. We're all very proud of you, what you've done and what you will do, and hopefully in the 2014 Olympics. Hopefully we'll see you there, and hopefully you'll come home with a medal. Well, all of us here will be pulling for you. So, again, thanks so much. For some closing remarks, I'd like to invite Dr. Todd Hutton, President of Utica College.
I think I'll start with this. And we have a little something, token of appreciation, if you would come up, please. And we have a jersey we'd like to present Erin. But on the back, thank you so much. So I'm going to be very candid in the beginning of my remarks, and that is, every time I watch the luge, my first impression is, those are the craziest people I've ever seen in my life. It's so nice. I've met Erin on more than one occasion. It's so nice to meet Erin and the other women at the table, and to know that lugers aren't crazy. They're normal, strong, dedicated athletes, and we're very proud of them. 29 out of 45 gold medals, by the way. So this is the year where women's, so we have 225 women who participated in Utica College in athletics, 225. They will be competing for us this season on the field, on the court, in the pool, and they make us very proud. I hope you'll come out and see our women, because women's sports do not receive the attention that they should receive. They don't receive the financial support that they should receive. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, because you're here today supporting Utica College athletics, but first and foremost today, women's Utica College athletics. And we are very proud of the fact that we've been a very strong supporter and a strong believer in Title IX. And we will continue to be a strong supporter of Title IX because we recognize that act, and I believe that act, has some of the most significant impacts in the development of women in this country. It's one of the most important pieces of legislation, I think, that we have seen in the past 50 years in this nation. And I think that we have to pay homage to those, and Erin, you did that beautifully, pay homage to those men and women who fought to make sure that women would have equal choice and equal opportunity in athletics. So I want to thank all of you for being here today to support our women athletics, in a broader sense, to support the legacy and the future of women's athletics in this nation. Erin mentioned our women's basketball team of 1948. Pretty remarkable story. If you were here to meet a couple of those women and to hear their story of how they struggled, and frankly, it was embarrassing. They had to fight and to struggle to create a basketball team at Utica College. They were given worn men's soccer uniforms with holes in them as uniforms. They had to provide their own tennis shoes. They had to provide their own transportation, make their own game arrangements, make their own reservations for space. Thank God that'll never happen again in America. So to reflect on some achievements, our women's achievements. Field hockey won the Empire 8 regular season title. They're going to win a national championship. Head coach here at Elliman was named the Empire 8 Coach of the Year. We enshrined the 49-50 women's basketball team into the Pioneer Hall of Fame. Excuse me. We had a terrific story that track and field student athlete Katie Manine barely missed out on a spot on the U.S. Paralympic team this year. Katie competes with a prosthetic leg. And we saw the breakthrough in the Olympics this year in London on the ability of people with different abilities to compete in the Olympics and to compete at the highest levels. Our student athletes had an overall GPA of 2.93, which is higher than the college overall average. We had 11 teams with a 3.0 or better. And I want to say that the women's teams led the GPAs consistently. We had a school record 3 All-Americans this year who were honored. That's pretty phenomenal. A school record 3 All-Americans. So we're looking forward to another great year of Pioneer athletics. Our first home athletic event is on August 31st. It's our men's soccer game. And on September 1st, I think it's the big coming out party, our women's field hockey plays that day, and men football team plays at night. So I'm asking all of you to continue to please support UC athletics, but especially UC women's athletics. The women need our support. Erin, thank you for everything. You're a great ambassador.
So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our luncheon for today. Again, thanks so much for your support, and hopefully we'll see you out supporting all of our teams, and hopefully we'll see you next year at the same time.